Hello everybody, my name's SpeZy. Welcome back to another video. First of all, I want to say thank you all so much for the support on my last video. It's now my most viewed video by 1,000 views, and the like and comment ratio is crazy, so thank you all so much. I might make some sort of follow-up to that video, which is what I plan to do as my next video, but I kind of just put it off. But I'm back today because I've realized that everyone is making MCC game tier lists, and I feel left out, and I really wanted to make one recently, but I decided to not do that. But I'm doing it now, so there you go. This is going to be more of an unedited type video. If you watch my, like, getting braces commentary kind of video, it's going to be like that. I'm just going to rank all the games. My experience of the MCC games is very minimal. I play on some practice servers, which feature, like, practice maps for Ace Race, obviously all the MCCI games I've played, and I think that's it. I don't know if I've played any other games here. I've played some parkour tag on practice servers, and dodgeball on other servers as well, but I think that's it. So, other games I'm going to be purely ranking from a viewer perspective and what I believe it would be like to play. I'm going to be, like, ranking them, combining both, so how it is for a viewer and how it is to play, from what I know or what I can guess. So if we look at, like, what other videos people made, Wolfie, this is his tier list. Go watch all these videos, by the way, if you want to. Here are the links. I'll put them in the description, actually, as well, so you can just click there. So credits to them. This is Wolfie's tier list, and here is Ripcord's tier list, which you can also see here. Ripcord did his first, and then Wolfie did his, so now I'm doing mine. So, yeah, I'll try to do as minimal cuts as possible. So hopefully this will be a fluent recording, and hopefully it'll be entertaining. My experience outside of MCC is that I study game design in college currently. So I do know quite a bit about what makes a good and bad game. And I'm going to try and apply that logic to kind of, like, explain my reasoning for what I think about the games. If it's not always clear, I'm sorry. I will try to use, like, language and, like, concepts that you guys can understand. These games are ordered in alphabetical order, so we're going from Ace Race to get to the other side. These are all the games in the current roster, I believe. This is just the same tier list they used, so I'm assuming it's correct. There were other ones, but I picked this one because it's what they used, and also it tells you what the games are because they use the actual, like, big logos, which I really like these artwork, by the way. This artwork is really cool. I don't want to waste any more time, so let's get started here. Also, we've got shuffled MCC music in the background, so hopefully it plays some good ones. First up, Ace Race. I love Ace Race, especially from playing on practice maps. I can really appreciate the game. You know, obviously it's probably very different to play it, you know, not being able to just hit the reset button and trying for times. I played it a while ago when there was a Python script server that I played and I got the world record on. And there's currently there's currently a server with sort of the MCC training map, if you know what I mean, but it's got extra bits in it. And I have the record in that as well, so, you know, I quite enjoy the game. I think it's one of the games I'm better at if, like, I was in MCC, so definitely biased. Obviously, I play, like, Mario Kart Wii quite a lot, like, competitively, so obviously I have a bias towards racing games. But Ace Race is a really cool game. 100% goes in the S tier. We're going to be ordering the games in the tiers as well, so you guys actually know, well, like, what games in S tier I prefer over each other, you know what I mean? So, like, maybe let's say, I don't know, let's say we're ranking Rock Speed Rush, maybe this means I like it more. This would mean I like it less. So that's how we're gonna rank it here. And I think it goes there. Yep. Yeah. We got the Build song on us. Right. Battle Box. Also, why is Buildmart out of order? I think Buildmart should be here. There we go. Oh wait, no. Actually, yeah, it should be there. Anyways, Battle Box. Battle Box is another really good game. I really like the game, especially because of how many rounds there are. So if you mess up one round, doesn't matter. Soft reset, go into the next one. That is a good, that is very well designed. I mean, that's just good game design in general. It's difficult to get tilted in Battle Box, obviously, because the rounds mean so little. But obviously when you combine them, that's when they mean a lot. So I think it's really well designed from that perspective. I think every player can play a role in Battle Box. You know, you can have someone sat at the back, like a sniper. You can have someone who really goes in, like sort of a brawler type playstyle. You can rush the middle, which I think is a really good thing because the middle takes a bit of time to fill in, but obviously if a team full wall rushes in, or wall rushes, you really have to pay attention because they can instantly win. I think it really lets good PvP players shine, but it also lets them help their team, because most of the points you get in Battle Box are actually team points, which is really good for helping the individual like placements out of the players who might not get represented as well on certain teams in the more individual-based games. I think it's really good from all those perspectives, and for a PvP game, the amount of like teamwork it usually requires, you know, it's very good. I really like the game. It's good on Island as well. I really like the kits feature, and the new map in MCC Kickoff was really good as well. The Starship map, or the whatever it's called. I think it was called Starship. It was the Star Wars themed one. And it's now on Island, and I've played it a few times, and it's really good. So yeah, Battlebox 100% A tier game for me. Not S tier. Just simply because, again, some players will struggle. You know, you may be targeted out, and that's always unfortunate. Obviously, Ace Race has that element, but it is a solo endeavor Ace Race, so, you know, you're in your own... You can't get, like, screwed over by other players, is what I'm trying to say. Which I think is better than getting screwed over by players, like, in Battlebox, because sometimes that will just happen, and people will, you know, fight for kill points and that, and it can get a little bit, heated. But... other than that, it's a really good game. You know, it's not far from Esther at all. Next up, Bingo But Fast. Very interesting game. There's a lot of different bingo games in tournaments, so it's difficult to rate Bingo But Fast. One of my biggest problems with it is how much it prioritizes getting lines on the board, which I think is a bit unintuitive. And that sounds stupid because it's called Bingo. But when we're thinking of Minecraft Bingo, we're usually thinking of just do any of the objectives on the board, you know? So, I mean, I think it was a bit misleading because I actually didn't know how much it was based off lines until I was, you know, watching MCC Kickoff. And I was like, oh my god, the Aqua team got the middle, like, I think it was a Minecart TNT was the middle thing. They got that, you know, and they got so many points from that. It's crazy. So, you know, I think that might be a bit unintuitive, but other than that, I think the game is very good. I like the Elytra mechanics, the fact you only get one rocket. I think it's one every minute, I want to say, or one every 30 seconds. I like that as well, because that means you can't just fly around everywhere. The teleportation pearl, I think, is very balanced, which I quite like. And yeah, I think it's a well-designed bingo game. I don't think it's the best game in the event. You know, I'm never really excited to see it. But I think it's well-designed for a bingo game. Obviously, it does take a lot of skills from survival, which is very good because, I mean, survival is probably the most common way to play Minecraft, you know. There's so many survival players and SMP players, so really any player can make an impact in this game, and I think that is really important for making certain players on the team feel valued. You know, a bad player can get told by, you know, the top frag on their team, oh yeah, you need to go do this task, that'll be really good, and, you know, allowing them to feel like they make an impact I think is really important. I think it's near top of C tier or bottom of B tier. I'm going to put it in B tier for now, but it's probably going to be to the bottom. We got the overtime music, which is a bit stressful. But yeah, I think I'd back this. We'll see where that games go later. But for now, I do like Bingo as a game. Build Mart, which, yeah, Build Mart. Unfortunately, I don't think deserves the same amount of love in my opinion. I think it's quite a boring game to watch, and it also doesn't look that interesting to play, if I'm being honest. I wouldn't choose to play Build Mart. I mean, maybe I'd choose to play it once just to see, but, you know, it's not a game that looks very interesting. So the main purpose of the game is that there's 3 builds, and you just go and get blocks, you bring them back, and you place blocks. It doesn't really take any sort of Minecraft skills in particular. You know, the building skills, which is, you know, we want a building game. It doesn't really test the appeal of the build, but more of the speed of the build. You know, it's a speed builders game, which also contains resource management, and gathering, which is interesting in itself if it was sort of a survival type thing, but it's not. You know, you fly to a specific section. You know, there's no sort of looking for the items. You kind of just go there, you gather the amount you think you might need, and you bring it back. Now, there are strategies to the game, like every game, of course, but the game overall isn't very appealing. Maybe if it was a survival world, and, you know, you had to bring back the items to the center, or maybe you had the teleportation pearl at a bingo, potentially? I don't know. Maybe that would mean someone would sit and spawn, though, so that would be a bit boring. But, you know, if it was a bit more engaging to gather the items, I think I could appreciate the game a bit more. But given the only main component of the game is literally just how fast can you copy a build over, And, you know, there's a lot of nothing. You know, getting the items is a very boring process, you know. I don't think anyone has been engaged watching them grab 32 pieces of white concrete. I don't think it's a very interesting game to watch, personally. Now, there is an audience for this game, and obviously, that's fine. Thank good that you like the game. Like, I'd prefer like build map than not like it. It's just in this case, obviously, I don't really like the game. It's gonna go straight in F tier. I think it's by far the worst game in the event. It's the only game I'd be completely fine with removing from the event without some sort of rework. I think that resource gathering is the main problem with the game. If that was more engaging, maybe it would go up to C tier or top of D tier, because building still isn't very interesting. That's probably the most interesting part of the game, and it's still quite boring. That's the simple fact of the matter. People are going to disagree. I think the common community consensus is that it's the worst game in the event, or at least one of the worst. Moving on to Dodgeball, which in my opinion is the best finale game created in any Minecraft event ever. So Dodgeball is fantastic from a design perspective because it does test Minecraft skills, but in the form of dodging and shooting arrows, which inherently has luck aspects. You know, I think a great part of the finale game is the fact that anyone can win this. It's hard to predict who can win Dodgeball, because it turns a game from, you know, I'm going to use a comparison I've heard before. Not for Dodgeball, but like, I don't know how to phrase it necessarily, but it turns it from a fully skill-based into poker, where there are luck elements in it, you know, where you guess to shoot, how you decide to dodge, but it ultimately does still come down to skill, and any player can make a massive impact by shooting that shot. And, you know, I think that's brilliant. It doesn't, you know, have sort of movement-like limits, you know, there's no block placing, there's no PvP inherently outside of range PvP. The fact that you can literally just stand still and make the opponent team dance, and, like, that is brilliant. And we're all doing it to win a, you know, a little coin, which at the end of the day obviously means a bit, but, you know, it's just quite funny to think about. I think it's fantastically designed. Straight in the S tier. It's a brilliant game. Better than any other finale game by far. I think the closest that for me, I quite like Bridges from Block Wars, but the new game Turf Wars is probably F tier, so I don't think I think that's the main thing MCC has over Block Wars right now, actually, is the finale game. I think Turf Wars is pretty terrible. Although Rock, Paper, Scissors, though, was pretty fire, so, you know. Anyway, right. Maybe I'll make a video on that. If you guys want me to make a video on why I don't like Turf Wars, maybe I'll make some Block Wars videos. I don't know. But yeah, I think that could be interesting. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Grid Runners. This is one of the most debated games in the whole MCC roster. Is it good? Is it bad? My opinion, it's okay. I think it's boring to watch back. I think watching it live is very cool. I watched Wolfie's ranking video, by the way, which is this one, and he said something I actually completely agree with. If the rooms were longer and they had more like basic goals that were really easy to understand, and it didn't like you don't benefit much from having prior knowledge, I think that would be really cool. If there were like 5 rooms instead of 8 or whatever, and they were bigger, and you overall just have a goal that like has multiple components to it that will allow different skill sets to shine. I think that would make the game a lot better. But obviously that's not the case. Grid Runners is it's a pretty fast-paced game, which obviously is quite good. It's quite engaging to play and to watch. I haven't played it myself, but I'm sure it's engaging to play. Requires a lot of good communication. I think overall requires a lot of good team skills. And I think the game does work very well. And yeah, looking at this now, I feel like Bingo shouldn't be in B. Because, I mean, maybe it's... the thing is, these games are very close for me. Bingo, Grid Runners. But I feel like I could do this. But I feel like that's misleading on what I actually think. So I don't know. Maybe this is correct. Do I prefer Grid Runners to Bingo? I probably do. I mean, the game... Look, I think the game is boring to watch back, and that's my only problem. But the thing is, I have quite a similar thing with Sands of Time. Where watching it back, I don't get that engaged, but watching it live, oh my lord, it's very engaging. Which I think is the most important thing. I think watching it live is ultimately the most important thing here. So... with that said, I'm going to put it in B. We'll have to see how the game has changed in Season 4, if at all. But for now, I'd leave it in B. And maybe I'll move... I don't know. Maybe Oh, maybe I put this... Yeah. Maybe I put Bingo at the top of C, and I put Grid Runners at the bottom of B. So when we get more stuff in B, we'll move it down. Hole in the Wall. Middle of the road for me. The game is fun to play, I think. It's a bit tedious at times, obviously, because the start of the game is so slow-paced. But obviously, it's made to warm up, you know, the weaker players. Which I think is good. But, you know, forcing all the players to go for this slow start, and, you know, if you lose the slow start, oh my goodness, it feels bad. And if you have to stand there and watch all the players for, you know, 4 minutes or whatever, how long the rounds are, it can be a bit boring. I think the game has definitely improved a lot over time with the changed maps. You know, that makes it a lot more interesting. You know, having to jump to platforms instead of being a big donut. I think 100% is an improvement. You know, the reverse walls. I think the return walls. You know, the speeding up of the walls in MCC Kickoff. I think it all are improvements. But the game overall, it's very difficult to change the core mechanics of the game. I think Wolfie also said that, but you know, it's just what I think. I'd put it in a top of... Oh, not there. I'd put it top of B tier. I think the game has its issues, but overall it can create some very good moments, and it's a classic MCC game, you know? I think if Hole in the Wall was a new game, we'd probably like it more. But just because it's been around, you know, it's that old reliable. You know, we kind of know what we're expecting from Hole in the Wall, but it's still going to be a good time. I think Hole in the Wall was good in the last event. I think there's not really any events where I was like, Hole in the Wall, what a boring game, you know? I think it's had some very good moments, and it's made some very good highlights in MCC, which is why I'm going to put it B tier. But I don't think it deserves any higher than B tier, personally. I would understand if people ranked it lower. Ranking it higher, I think I'm being a bit generous to the game, like, in all honesty. But, I mean, that is just what I think. This is what I think. I'm just saying, compared to other opinions, I think I'm being generous. Yeah, I'll move on. I won't bore you with the Hole in the Wall lore. Meltdown. Right. Here is my hot take of the day. This is the game that I know I will get the most hate for. I think Meltdown is a boring game to watch, and I know that a lot of people like this game. And to play, I have actually got to play it once with some people on a practice event. I got to play it once, and it was fun. It was a fun game to play. I had a lot of good teamwork elements. Overall, it really reminded me of playing, you know, I used to play, like, Overwatch and stuff like that. It really reminded me of that. Maybe I'll come back to that game. That game's really fun. But, you know, to watch, no, it's just not that interesting, because ultimately, half of the teams, or maybe even more, will just get destroyed at the very start of the game, and the overall map design is it's a small map. Which confuses me, because I feel like you should build up the game more for a rampage ending. You should try and keep, you know, the teams separated unless they want to go in completely. You shouldn't force teams into each other, because that means that lots of teams have to just sit out because they were forced into a fight they didn't want to take, and they ultimately got punished for that. Which is no fault of their own, it's just they have no idea what they're walking around the corner to see. I think if the map was bigger, 100% that would fix problems. And from my knowledge, Meltdown does have a different map now, because we saw that in the update video, but it wasn't played, so we don't know how different that is. But, you know, I don't think the game is bad to play, I just think it's a bit boring to watch, personally. I do like that it doesn't have any combat, like, melee elements. I think that's a strong thing. That's one of the reasons I like Dodgeball. But that's mainly because it's a finale game, and for Meltdown, to be honest, a lot of it's about positioning and very complicated, like, sort of, like, theories in playing, like, competitive games. So, I think that kind of takes away from the fact that, you know, anyone can shoot a bow. So, thinking about that, I'd put it in the bottom of C tier. You know, and I think the game can be fun if you're good at it. And I think, to be honest, if I played the game, I'd probably really enjoy it. But for people who are probably less good at the game, and also for people who are watching, it's not that that it's not engaging. I think it's engaging, but I think it's just not very interesting as a concept. Let me know your thoughts, though. I could be wrong. I'd like to see the Meltdown defenders tell me why the game is so interesting. If you can write comments, by the way, don't just tell me, like, I'm wrong or I'm right. Give me reasons, you know what I mean? Like, back me up, or say, no, this is why. And change my mind, because I'll probably do this video again in the future, and if you say something impactful, maybe that'll change my opinion, and I'll view the game a different way. yeah, maybe I should have said that earlier before everyone like spammed comments and skipped to the end instead of saying it in the middle of the video. But oh well, what can you do? Let me have a sip of my drink. Lovely. Right. Parkour tag! Woo! Right. My hot take used to be that I didn't like parkour tag, but I have changed my mind on this. I think parkour tag is a very good game now. The reason I used to not like it is because I thought it was just a worse battle box, and I thought overall Parkour Warrior was better. Parkour Warrior is still a good game, but I think Parkour Tag has really grown on me because this game works really well at really any point in the event. It can really warm you up if it's at the start, and it's a really intense game near the end. The point scoring is a bit flawed, but I think other than that, it's good. It's a good game. Like, I think the feature of the the hunters, it all matters on who hunts what team first. If you know what I mean, if you know the scoring. So basically, if your team hunts the other team before their team hunts your team, you basically get 80% of the points, even if it was incredibly close. I hope they change that. I hope they balance it out a little bit more to, favor people who run, because people who run do just get less points. Which can be unfortunate, because some people will want to run who are stronger players because they think they're better at it. And they get punished for that, so that's unfortunate. At least I think that's what happens, because I don't see people who hunt, ever, I don't see people who only run ever get, near the top, so, yeah. Running only really gives you points if you, live the whole time, which is very difficult. Parkour Tag, very good game, definitely better than Hole in the Wall. I'm gonna put it in the top of B tier for now. It could go up. I think it deserves to be here, just because I think it is worse than Battlebox, and by considerable margin, to be honest, but I think it is better than Hole in the Wall, so I will put it at the top of B tier. I think that's where it belongs overall. Moving on to the next game, Parkour Warrior. This is one of the most, disagreed upon games, in my opinion. People either really like or really dislike this game, and I think it's a good game. I think it works very well. Old Parkour Warrior, I would not say the same. I think it's fun as a map that you can download and play, or play on a practice server. But I think playing it in the event, no, it was too. The difficulty scaling was very off. It could have been better, but ultimately I don't think it was a very good game. But the new Parkour Warrior, oh my god, so much better. The fact you can choose to go for different paths, I think it's intuitive. I think. When we see Parkour Warrior come back for Season 4, we'll have that, the loading screens that we have now in MCC, where it will give you that guidance. I think that will really help, players understand the game properly. Maybe they should have, a narrator who reads those lines on the screen. I think that would make the game more engaging, to kind of get players aware of what they're about to play, for those who don't know. Maybe that's a bad idea. I don't know. I guess that'd be bad for non-English speaking players, but I think you could translate the event. So, I don't know. Let me know if that's a good idea or not. Parkour Warrior, very fun game, in my opinion. I think it's created a lot of fun moments. I just don't know. I don't know if it's better than Parkour Tag. I honestly don't know. I like that. It's such a toss-up for me. I don't know. I mean, I'm viewing this too much from a competitive standpoint. I'm gonna put it below. Simply because I think it's more fun for me as someone who's better at the game. I think if you're worse at the game, you'd 100% prefer Parkour Tag, because it's more of a team effort and you sort of celebrate together. Maybe that's bad reasoning. I don't know. This is something I could 100% be proven wrong on. Because the thing is, I think on some days I could put Parkour Warrior up here, but I think right now it's definitely better than Hole in the Wall. Definitely better than Hole in the Wall. But Parkour Tag, I don't know. Does it look better here? Maybe. I'll put it above for now, but we'll see how it looks in the future. Right. Railroad Rush. Oh boy. Do we want to do this Railroad Rush at the end? Maybe. Actually, yeah, let's do that. Let's do Railroad Rush last. That's really hard to say fast in an English accent, by the way. Railroad Rush. Railroad Rush. Because we get rid of all the consonants. I don't know, I'm raging at my accent. Rocket Spleef Rush. Another Rush game. Are there any more Rush games? No, there's 2 games with Rush. I quite like it. I quite like the word Rush. It's quite a cool word. Gets you in the zone. I really like this game until they added the durability, which on Island is fun, but how punishing it is in the event, it is awful in the event. But I'm assuming because everyone hates the durability that they're going to reverse the change instantly. So I'm going to imagine that it doesn't exist, and I'm going to put it at the bottom of A tier. But with durability, it goes down to here in my opinion. But I'm going to put it here, assuming they remove durability. Because durability in the event is terrible. You can just get screwed over because you get targeted. You know, if you're a good player, it's probably strategic to target the bad players, which makes it terrible. If that's like a strategy you should do. Which will definitely affect some of the positions I have on some of the games coming up. Specifically games like Sky Battle Survivor games. We'll get into that. Let me have a drink. Right. Sands of Time. Sands of Time. I love this game. This game is brilliant. It's fantastically designed. It's intuitive. It just makes sense. And I just love the game. I have no issues with the game at all. I think the music is probably the best in the whole event. I think the gameplay is the best in the whole event. I think it has the best idea. I think it has the best combination of teamwork. It's a teamwork game. It's a teamwork game. You know, the teamwork games usually are slept on in MCC. This game is considered the best by a long shot. And I think it completely deserves that in first place. It is better than Dodgeball in my opinion, also, but Dodgeball and then Sands of Time, the only two games in MCC that I literally want to see never touched. Do not change Sands of Time. Do not touch Dodgeball. Like, obviously you can add new rooms at Sands of Time. Obviously do that. But do not touch them because they are perfect as they are. We do not need changes to Dodgeball or Sands of Time. That is my opinion. It's just brilliant. It incorporates every single Minecraft skill. It incorporates parkour, survival skills, time management, teamwork. It does it all, and it does it brilliantly as well. It doesn't do it all badly. It does it all really well. Puzzle solving. You know, if you're smart, you can go into a different room and you can do puzzles to win a key to give to your more exploring-based player. You know, maybe if you have a survival-based player, they can go down these certain tunnels. They can mark where they are. It has so many different layers and so much skill. I mean, it's definitely the most analysed game in the whole of MCC. I mean, H-Bomb exists for crying out loud. And for a reason so. It is a brilliant game. And I think it has amazing theming as well. That it's a beautiful game to look at. I mean, the dungeon is brilliant. It's just an amazing game. I love the game, seriously. It's the best Minecraft event game ever made. 100%. And it goes in S tier, where it belongs. Just had to check on my recording, and it's going fine, so we're good. Sky Battle up next, another brilliant game. I love Sky Battle. It can create such good moments, you know, 3 different rounds. I think is a great concept for, it's just a great concept for a game. Obviously, Sky Wars has been done before, but Sky Battle is very different because it's not just getting loot out of chests. It's resource management and crafting, inventory management. It has all those different features, and the amount of how do you pronounce that? Is it miscellaneous or is it miscellaneous? I actually don't know. You know, the TNTs, the fishing rods, the creepers, the cobwebs, all those like unique items that you don't specifically see in games like survival games, battle box, and other PvP games at different events. The inclusion of those items, I think, makes the game really interesting. And the fact that people can play it on MCCI makes it even better because you can really sweat out this game, lab out different strategies in different ways, and ultimately, it is a teamwork-based game. I mean, the survival elements of it are really important, you know, getting those survival points. I do kind of wish they increased the points of survival points, just to make it better to not, like, throw yourself into a fight instantly. And, you know, I think that would be beneficial for the game, and maybe having a bigger map with a faster border would be better. But obviously the border moves really fast at the end, which is a bit of a critique because if it moved a bit slower, I think it'd be more interesting. You know, if it forced you to kind of maybe like sort of mold out some sort of area, you know, hide in a little tunnel, I think that'd be quite funny. Which has been done. It's just difficult. But I think that would be interesting if you could kind of PvP from those awkward positions. Maybe if they made more layers in the maps, that'd be interesting. But overall, they're very minor critiques. I think the gameplay itself is very good, and, you know, there's a chance that what I just said there would make the game worse. I really don't know. But the game 100% is an S tier. Below Ace Race, it's bottom S, but it is S tier, in my opinion. It's a brilliant game. Survival games. Where will I put it? This is one of the most debated games, again, alongside games like Parkour Warrior, and there's definitely others. But, Survival games, in my opinion, here's the thing. The reason Sky Battle thrives is because the team-based elements, you know, because you have the amount of loot that you have, it's very, and you know, the infinite amount of blocks you can have, it's very easy to navigate around the map and pick fights that you want to take. Survival games doesn't give you that luxury because you have very little ways of mobility. The items you get are very basic, and overall, it's just a very linear game. And not only that, but it also only has one round, meaning that if you die at the start, it is literally over. And it's 10 minutes of nothing, and you get no points, basically. You probably get, like, 100 points over... Like, if your whole team dies at the start, you probably get 200 points as a team. Unmultiplied. Probably not even that, actually. It's probably less than 200. So, it's bad from that perspective. It can create some incredibly hype moments, and I think as a finale game, it's great for swings. But even then, that doesn't always mean that a certain team is the best in the event, and that doesn't mean they should have deserved to win the event. Because, I mean, a team that's in 5th and they can just win survival games due to maybe potentially lucky positioning, you know, I think it's like dodgeball in that sense, where it has those, like, poker elements where it has skill and it has luck. Which is good and bad. But in this sense, given how high stakes it is, you know, Dodgeball has multiple rounds, it's a finale game, Sky Battle has multiple rounds, and it really favors mobility over, you know, just having raw PvP, and, you know, like, getting 2 hit by stone axes. Survival games is not a very great game, and I'm gonna put it in D tier. It can create very hype moments, but other than that, it's not, I don't think it's much better than Build More. I'd prefer it than Build More, but I don't think it's much better. Obviously when it gets picked, it's kind of hype, but, you know, I think it can really swing events the wrong way and really put a down on certain players. I think there's a lot of people who don't like SG, and for good reason. You know, it has a meltdown element. I think, honestly, at the end of the day, it's just meltdown, but 1 round, which makes it even worse. Because meltdown, you can at least get lucky and have a good performance. Survival games does not give you that luxury, and it has random elements, which means you can get even more screwed over, which can be really bad. So, yeah, that's my take on survival games. To get to the other side, one of my personal favourite games to play. I love to get to the side, I love playing the game on Island, but obviously the queues are usually quite low, so I don't play it much, sadly. But I used to be very good at the game, I used to be on the leaderboards for the game, and it was very fun. I love just the movement in the game. And it's personally one of my favourite games to play. To watch, on the other hand, I only really watch good players, so I have no clue what the experience is watching the worst of players play this game. So sorry I don't have that perspective. Maybe other people in the comments can chip in. So let me know what you think of To Get to the Side, because I'm genuinely curious. Where did people put it, actually? So, they put it in C, they put it in B, yeah, so... For me, I really like the game, but I think punching does make it a bit bad. Again, it's sort of that poker element where it's mostly skill, but it definitely has luck. I mean, last event, Fruitberries got completely destroyed by punching, to my knowledge. I haven't watched this perspective, but there's no way he did that badly without getting punched a few times at least. So, you know, I think that definitely does limit the game. And ultimately, I will put it right in the middle. Smack bang in the middle. I think it's better than a hole in the wall, but I think it's worse than Parkour Tag. You know, I think to play, I think it's really fun for me, but I think for other people, they might put it lower, so I think in the middle is where it belongs. I like the theming of the game. I think that, you know, the chicken elements are really funny. I think it's a colourful game. I think it's really nice. I think it's really fun in events as well. You know, I hope we see this game at TwitchCon in, I think it's in Amsterdam. I hope we see this in TwitchCon Amsterdam in the MCC there, because it's really a fun game. It's a really fun game to watch live. But other than that, I really can't put it much higher. To play, I probably prefer it than Parkour Tag, but I mean, even that's debatable. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I enjoy block placing. We'll move on to Railroad Rush, which I'm sure is the most, you know, oh, where's he gonna put this? I loved watching this game. Now, maybe it's because I was watching Feinberg. I don't know. I haven't really watched any other POVs. But from the perspective of Feinberg, I think it takes so many different elements of Minecraft and it puts in. There are definitely flaws in this game, no doubt. I mean, the Gold Rush was a bit strange. Maybe I'd prefer the Gold Rush if, you know, it was sort of like oddly enough, I know the game's an F tier, but if the Gold Rush was sort of like Build Mart, where you can kind of choose when to go into Gold Rush, and maybe there was some sort of time penalty, I'm not to going in, because obviously you would just go in, you just have one person farm in there, right? But, you know, I think that would be good, and maybe like, maybe the gold mines unlock for a period of time, and then they get locked at a certain time. That would be interesting, maybe. I really hope they try out different things in this game, because this game has so much potential to be improved. But I just really liked the game. I think it incorporates different elements of Minecraft that will allow... I mean, the fact the pink team got 4th, I think, that's really cool. You know what I mean? Like, it's cool that they have a game that they could do really well at. So, I think, overall, I think it's a really good game. I will put it... probably here. I'd say here. Below Battlebox, above Rocket League Rush for now. Now, obviously, people are always going to think games are better than they are. I doubt that this game will move up. It can only really go down, unless they improve the game, which is what I was talking about. But, you know, other than that, I don't really see the game going up unless they change it a lot. But, you know, I think the game has a lot of potential, and I hope they do make the necessary adjustments to make it better. The few errors I had were just sometimes it was a bit confusing. Maybe potentially, specifically with the gravel mechanics, that was a bit strange to me. But other than that, I really like the game. Maybe some custom textures on the dynamite. You know, the fact they're just candles is a bit weird. That would be cool. You know, they have the rocket launchers for Rocket League Rush. I'm sure they can make dynamite. So, yeah, that is my tier list. Let's see if we want to move anything around, though. So let's see. You know what? I feel like Bingo's better than Meltdown, so I'm going to move it up. And looking at this, yeah, maybe I move Parkour Warrior up to here. And maybe this is it? I reckon this is good, I think. Yeah, I reckon this is fine. I don't know. The thing is, do I prefer Sky Battle to Battlebox? Probably. But Battlebox, I think, is not far away from Sky Battle. It's just the difference is because, like, Sky Battle is very low S tier, and I think Battlebox is really high A tier, so it's kind of the difference for me. I'm gonna leave it like this, actually. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you all for watching the video so much. If you watched all the way through, thank you a lot. And if you just skipped to the end to see what I thought, to write a comment, also thank you. Writing comments is really nice. I like reading comments as long as they're worded well and not too, like, mean. These are just my opinions. I try to justify my reasons as much as I can with logistical reasoning. But obviously I can't please everyone. There's going to be people who think, you know, Build Mart is in the S tier. I just disagree. You know, it's difficult. This is all opinion-based, and I don't want to, like, ever, like, pressure the Nox crew to do anything to these games. Like, my opinion is that, like, any Meltdown Survivor games in Build Mart either need to be taken out of the roster or reworked completely. Every other game in the event is good. Like, if you're in B tier, this is good. Like, let's rename the tiers, actually. Remove Benched Forever. I think it's a good name for it. Why is it like that? Bench. Because Survivor games needs heavy rework. Needs reworking. Actually, no, meh, we'll go. Solid. Very good. Is there a better... Amazing. Yeah, we'll get that. Goat! We'll go with that. So, this is my tier list. Let me know the thoughts in your thoughts in the comments. Hope you liked this sort of unedited style of videos. I'm sure I'll make more. Let me know other things I should rank. You know, I'm thinking about ranking maps in games, maybe to get desired maps, Sky Battle maps, Battlebox maps. Any of that stuff, I will gladly do. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Maybe I'll put out a community poll where you can vote for that. I'll put that in a pinned comment if I want to do that. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Have a great rest of your day. And goodbye, everyone. Goodbye. Have a good rest of your day.